This is the Weekly Scramble, a place where we chat about life over a cold one or two. It's time to belly up to the pod with Mike Fratelloni and your host, Chris Reavers.
That's right. It's time for the Weekly Scramble. My mic is way too hot, and my name is Chris Reavers, and by my side is Mike Fratelloni with Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores. Hello, Michael.
Was I the mic you were referring to when you were saying I'm too hot?
Well,
Thank
you are
Reavers.
way
Thank
too
you.
hot,
It's
especially with that jean
on,
jacket
right?
that you are rocking today. I complimented you on said
Right
jacket,
when I walked in.
and I said,
yeah.
That's a good-looking jacket.
I'm going to tell you, I hadn't
bringing
had a
it
jean
back?
jacket from, it's been like since I was a little kid,
Okay.
right? And now this isn't a jean-looking jean jacket. It's
No.
gray, right? But it's a jean jacket material. I'm loving it. I'm a
looks
big
good.
fan of the jean jacket.
It looks
Plus,
good.
you can rough and tumble in it, right? You can do anything because it doesn't matter. It's not going to rip. It's a jean jacket.
You remember the movie The Outsiders?
Pony Boy?
Yes.
Do I look like Pony
That's
Boy?
exactly-
I don't know if Pony Boy's the one. Who played Ralph Macchio? What
it was
did
Pony
Ralph Macchio?
Boy.
Was it Pony Boy? Okay.
Oh, for crying out loud. Now I'm going to have to
Or
pull up
I could have been Tom Cruise or Matt Dillon.
Outsiders.
But I had to be
What a
Ralph
cast,
Macchio.
by the way,
that
The
wasn't that
Outsiders.
what a great movie. I watched that movie and I had my kids watch it at a very young age and I forgot that there was a stabbing.
Oh, yeah.
And all that stuff. I just missed all of it. I didn't really catch any of it. And drinking.
C. Thomas Howell is Pony Boy Curtis.
Okay.
Ralph Macchio was Johnny Cade. Patrick Swayze was Daryl, Pony Boy's older brother.
Okay.
Rob Lowe was Soda Pop.
Soda Pop.
Matt
That's right.
Dillon,
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez, Tom Cruise. What a cast,
That was
man.
truly an amazing cast.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Man.
Yeah.
What year? Take a guess.
That was let me see. That was 1983.
Holy crap.
Was I right?
Look at you.
Was I right?
March 25th, 1983.
I had no choice. That was just a pure guess, but that's cool.
Francis Ford Coppola.
I did not. I guess I would have known that. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Any-
What a movie maker.
What
he
a
is.
segue
Old
we've
Franny.
made in
I
the
call
first-
him Franny.
You got a good...
We're close. I
Yeah.
drink a lot of his wine, right? So
That's
I can
good.
call him whatever I want.
All right, so speaking of celebrities, the Kanye West story is worth our time and attention here on the Weekly Scramble, formerly known as The Beer Show.
Can we borrow that dirt alert thing where it goes dirt alert, dirt alert, dirt alert?
I don't technically think we can.
Isn't that from one of our sister stations?
Yes.
We're why can't we just say, hey,
sometimes
you've invented
properties-
something fantastic?
Sometimes properties get mad about the use of other
Can I just say dirt alert, dirt
Sure,
alert? Okay.
sure,
Dirt
sure.
alert, dirt alert, dirt alert.
All right.
Okay. Kanye West. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
First of all, amazing artist.
Yeah.
Everyone hates him except for me. I do not like his anti-Semitism. Let me go on record and say, you got to chill out with your anti-Semitism. That doesn't really bode well for you.
So I want to just, obviously what he said was completely foolish and stupid and all the above. That doesn't need to be said because everybody gets it. Here's what I really want to dive into. And it deals with the world of the celebrity world and reality. Okay? Just hang with me here for a minute. What I always love is these people that think, and this is across the board, whatever side of the political aisle, whatever, it doesn't matter. When the people think that they are above it all, they can say whatever they want, at least they think they can, and then when reality crashes hard on them, and that's what's happening with Kanye West right now. But what I love about this is he just basically says something to the effect of, well, they can't touch me, or they can... And oh, by the way, Adidas said, oh, really? Well, watch us.
I think this is not an exact quote, but I did watch it. He said, I can be an anti-Semite, and what's Adidas going to do about it? With this arrogant look like, because he knew that Yeezys, the shoe that he makes, called the Yeezy, the Adidas Yeezy, cool shoe. I'm going to tell you, it's cool, right? They're expensive, but they're cool. He is so enamored with the thought that Adidas is just going to say, I don't want to lose this multiple billion-dollar sales machine, that he said, and he just said, I can be an anti-Semite. And what are they going to do? And later on that day, they said, here's what we're going to do. It was like daring Adidas to drop him. And Adidas just said, thank you, buddy. Good luck to you, and dumped him. And you had made a comment. I'm looking at a little bit more mathematical research here.
Please, yeah.
So he had lost the equivalent of $1.5 billion overnight with that.
And again, does this mean then that he's going to have to sleep on the street corner? Obviously, no.
No, they did say his net worth now is about $400 million.
So 400 million.
Yeah, so he's far from destitute, right?
But again, it's just the amount of arrogance that exists with people of his stature just continues to amaze me, because you have to be smarter than that. Don't you think at some point? Yeah, you can say whatever you want. However, sometimes whatever you say is going to have consequences, much like it did in this specific case.
You know who you have to blame this on?
Who?
I mean, it's clear. The Kardashians. Those women, because of their immense beauty, they destroy men. They destroyed him. They turned the best athlete in the world into a woman. I mean, that's power.
That is pretty deep.
These girls have to be witches because they're so pretty. They're very pretty girls. I don't get the big exploding butt thing. I don't get. That's not my style.
No.
But they're very, very pretty. All of them are pretty. The mom, she's like 61, gorgeous. She's beautiful.
But, okay,
Destroying guys.
I don't know if I've ever even, if this has ever entered into the conversation between the two of us. But
Do I like big butts? No. And
no,
I cannot lie.
But I have a scale, and it's not the one that we use on GL, the Hot Crazy Matrix. Yes, you might be stunning, but if your personality and the way you carry yourself and your arrogance, that brings you way freaking down.
Yeah, but she's also talking about, you're Kanye West. You have that personality, the arrogance, all of that.
I agree
so you're
completely.
matching. It's two yings to the yang.
I agree completely, but because I know just what a horrible human being Kim might be, it just takes her down, in my opinion. Like, I don't care how good looking you are. If you are just a spiteful human being, I have no time for you, and I don't care.
I was watching a Kardashian show the other day.
Okay.
And on this particular episode, as I'm sitting there looking at my wife thinking, why are we watching this? Why? Do anything besides this. And this episode is when Kanye went to Ray J's house.
Oh, no.
And bought or procured the computer that had the original sex tape on it. Like, it's like he opened up this box and it was like an Apple IIe with the mouse and all this stuff. And he said, "Hey, honey, here's the computer that the original sex tape resides on."
Oh, boy.
And I thought, well, that's nice, but that original sex tape now resides on 60 million other computers too. But okay,
Thank God you bought it.
Yeah, you bought the one or you got the one, and this is it. And then Kim had a moment of complete collapse where she's just crying, saying, thank you, it feels so good. And I felt like saying, well, without that tape, Kim, you would be nothing. Right? No one would ever know.
It did skyrocket her to fame.
Yeah.
No question
and in
about
reality, she's the highest paid porn star ever in the history of the world.
Because of how her career ascended as
right.
a result of
the movie was the
said
thing that
tape,
did it, right? I mean, it was 100%. She did it right from that movie. And I actually think she's a pretty impressive person. I don't think she's a dope.
Really?
I don't think you can.
From a business standpoint, she's probably pretty savvy.
And I'm afraid that she's going to put a hex on me because she's got to be a witch, because literally every guy that goes around them, everyone has huge problems eventually.
Well, you do realize that once we do finally get the Kardashian theory, it will be the final episode of Garage Logic. That's what Joe has said.
Okay, so when the Kardashian get what?
No. When Joe gives his Kardashian theory,
he
says because he thinks it's so over the top and so insane that they will cancel him.
Maybe he thinks they're witches.
Well,
maybe that's what it is. Maybe he and I have the same one.
It's to the point where it's the one subject he won't even let us in on when we're not recording the show.
Yes.
It's the one subject he will not even tease us with.
I walked by one of his little British cars out in the parking lot, and there was an Us Weekly, and you could see that there was like kiss marks all over the Kim Kardashian. So I'm sure maybe he really loves. I'm just making that up. I don't even know what kind of car Joe has, but I know he at one time had one of those little MGs that he putted around St. Paul in.
You and I used to do a radio show. Now we do a podcast, and we both loved doing radio. I still, it's doing radio has always just been a treat and a pleasure, and something that I've always truly enjoyed doing as a profession. Right? I don't know if you heard the story. This, I believe, happened yesterday. I'm trying to find a dateline here. I'll find it here in a minute. A radio DJ by the name of Tim Gao died live on the air yesterday, October 24th. He presented a breakfast show on Gen X Radio, Suffolk. Is that Suffolk? Is that Virginia?
Suffolk County, Virginia, yeah.
Okay. Passed away an hour into his broadcast yesterday. The music stopped partway through a song during the 55-year-old show. It resumed a few minutes later. However, Tim did not return. Tim, unfortunately, leaves behind a son, 2 siblings, and his mother. The radio station confirmed Tim had died. A spokesperson said on Twitter, quote, "It is with the heaviest of hearts that I have to inform you our dear friend and breakfast host, Tim, passed away this morning while presenting his program. Our love to his family, son, sister, brother, and mother. Tim was doing what he loved. He was 55 years old. Rest in peace, buddy." Tributes poured in for Tim on Twitter. Another radio host wrote, "Tim was one of the kindest people I knew. A real privilege to have called him a good friend over the 20 years that we knew each other. Thoughts with his family, gone way too soon." Another person wrote, "Tim had so much love for his friends and family. You could never meet a nicer man than Tim. A beautiful soul who we'll miss very much. Such awfully sad news. Condolences to Tim and his family and friends." Here's why I bring this up. Now,
It's not funny. There's
no,
nothing-
not at all.
It's
no,
a sad,
it's horribly.
sad story.
And I'm not going to make light of it in any way whatsoever. But it had me thinking. Because, let's see, I'm close to 20 years now in the business. I took a little bit of break in between the first radio stint and then this current one that I've had for 15 years. So I'm getting close to 20 years in broadcasting.
Okay.
I swear to God, if that's the way I go, on the microphone with Joe and Rookie in this room, me and the good man above are going to have some words. That is not the way I'm going to go.
You don't want to go in that manner.
No, not at all.
I mean, you're likely to potentially be killed by Joe. Joe would be
Yes.
more inclined to kill you, but if you just die of natural causes, you're
Much
pissed.
better chance that I get stabbed through the heart with a pencil.
Yes.
Much better chance.
Yep,
You are right.
Sharp pencil. Did it say his cause of death?
Well, one would be led to believe that, heart attack or something like that, because in all honesty, for the most part, it's not exactly like radio people are the most healthy individuals in the world.
Sometimes they can be sedentary.
Because you spend a lot of your time sitting down,
and studying up. I thought every time I hear something and they don't say why the guy died or how he died, I always go to like just the worst things, like he might have been doing something bad. Or,
well, who knows? Yeah. It's unfortunate, but I thought, man, when it's your time, I get it. It's your time. You don't really get to pick.
No.
It's not like, hey, can we do this on Tuesday instead of today? It's not like that. But at work, oh man.
Okay, so now let's get a little stupid. Now
let's do that.
After we respectfully say, God bless this guy. Sorry. What song was playing?
Oh,
End of the World as We Know It.
Man. So you're saying if it's something like that, this was predetermined?
No, I'm just saying, like, could it be the curse of this song? Could it? Because dead air. I mean, that's literally what happened here.
Yeah.
There had to be some song that. I mean, what could it be? Wake Me Up Before You Go Go.
Well,
that
okay,
would have been good.
so
by Wham.
Sorry,
can't think.
What
of any other
happens
song
often too is there's such an ingrained fear in your head especially as a radio producer. So most of us, and Rookie has a very similar story to the one that I'm about to tell. Everybody has that fear of dead air. Now, every radio station, and I know exactly where the one that we have down the hall is. Every radio station has what's called the dead air alarm. And it's to notify, because in some cases when there's multiple stations that occupy the same building, there's, especially overnights, and especially weekend overnights, there's typically only one person that's roaming amongst the multiple radio stations that happen to be sharing the same space, right? So let's just say overnight guy or gal all of a sudden gets the alarm. Now you have to pinpoint, okay, it's station X, station Y,
and it's
whatever.
literally an alarm.
And
I mean, we had it in the station.
Yep.
And a couple of times it went off. And it's a beacon in the studio that you see and hear.
And you will, as a producer, you will always have that dream where you're at home, you're asleep, and the alarm goes off, and then you frantically wake up. It's happened to me minimum 25 times.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying because what's not okay? Oh, you just hit this button and then everything's back. So anyway,
back to normal. Okay.
But I'm just thinking that's an awful for this to happen at work. I feel awful for this poor guy.
Dust in the wind.
You just can't get off this fixation of what song was
what
playing.
What else could it have been?
I don't know.
That's poor reporting.
You think so?
Well, if they don't say right in the middle of, but it could have been. I wonder if he was 55, so he probably wasn't on a hip hop alternative station.
Well, you never know.
I mean, it's
There are
possible.
some guys that are.
Got like the Dave Ryans of the world, right?
Well, I didn't
I
say
don't know how
you
old
did.
Dave Ryan is, but he's, every time he has to.
Hold on. What song was playing? I'm gonna look this up.
I mean,
you will not let this go.
Because it would be interesting to see what it was. What if it had some weird correlation? What if it was terribly sad? What if it brought something out in him?
Oh, like it triggered some type of emotion.
Yeah, maybe it triggered something.
I didn't even think
know.
of that.
Yeah, maybe it was Pina Colada. Everyone loves that song. That
It's not really.
see, it's poor reporting. Because the first thing I want to know is how he died. Second thing is what song was playing. Right. Even what brand of radio station it was.
He was apparently a very popular host. Well, I'll be honest. I've never heard of the guy.
Please,
Not that matters.
please let me say this clearly.
Okay.
I am not making fun of him. That is a sad day.
No.
I'm being jocular and making fun of the situation, but not making fun that this poor guy died. What was the station?
All
that
right,
he was on?
I did find it.
Okay.
Gen X Radio is the.
Oh, Gen X. That's mine. See, we were same age guys and Gen X.
He was an hour into his program when the popular ska band's song "Gray Day" suddenly came to an end. I'm going to guess that this is not a station that's in the States. I'm going to guess this is overseas.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, I don't know that
as I'm reading more.
Although
Anyway.
I get it. Okay, yeah, ska is there. It's kind of an old thing. Ska. I heard a really cool story today.
I gotta get
can
rid of the
Can I
outsiders.
tell you about it?
Please.
So there was this guy that loved music, and he heard ska, and he said, "Hey, I want to make a ska band."
All right.
So he in turn turned to his sister and said, "You need to become the singer for this ska band."
Okay.
And they had this another band member, and 2 days before they were going to sign with this record company, the lead singer, the main guy, killed himself. And they were just shocked, right?
Wow.
So in turn,
too bad.
they did sign with this thing, but it was just this guy and his little sister, right? And finally, the guy was a player. He actually became an illustrator for The Simpsons. Like, he had other love, so he went and worked for The Simpsons. And this girl just went on her own, and it was Gwen Stefani. And I was like, oh
wow.
The Gwen Stefani story. And then she wrote that song, I'm Just a Girl or whatever. And it sold that album sold 16 million copies. And she went from nothing to overnight being a multimillionaire.
Right.
Just after her brother says, I'm going to go draw for The Simpsons, and leaves and becomes an illustrator.
I never
for The
knew that
Simpsons.
story.
I paraphrased a very, very interesting timeline story in about 15 seconds. And I watched an hour-long program, and I thought, wow, that is really, really, it's sometimes interesting to see the dues that people pay to get where they are, and almost never is it an overnight success.
Oh, God, no.
Right? It's
No.
like, oh, they're an overnight success after 10 years of grinding, and your bandmates killing themselves and doing all this
You're
stuff.
triggering something from me. So usually in my home, I don't control the remote control. I'll watch a little bit of a ball game here, but then when it's time to nestle in for the night, it typically turns to HGTV, which I'm completely fine with because I like watching houses being built.
And let's face it, you're a beta male. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't care. But I can tell you, my annoyance level is triggered easily. I will admit that. It doesn't take much for me to go, I already hate this couple. You know what I mean?
Really? Okay.
Well, because it's always, and it can be either the male or the female, or in some cases it's two males or two females, whatever. There's always something with one of the people that's buying the new house or flipping or flopping or whatever the hell it is. But it's the overly picky person or something that they don't like. And I'm thinking, do you know how easy it is to fix that?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like the paint color. Well, then paint the damn wall.
Yeah, it takes 2 seconds. It's not removing the wall.
But there was one recently that we were watching. Oh, my God. And so it's one of these, I think it was one of these shows where we're moving to a different country because we're pursuing our passion kind of a deal.
Of pottery, yeah.
Right. Well, he wanted to become, oh my God. So they have a child. And it's a young couple. I'm going to guess they're in their mid-20s. Young couple. They have a baby boy, and they're moving to Thailand, I believe. I don't remember. Well, they had really ambitious goals for their future.
Okay.
He was pursuing a career as an ultimate fighter.
Oh, all
which,
right.
okay, I guess guys can make money doing that, knocking their brains in. Okay. And she was pursuing a career as a TikTok star.
Oh, okay, an influencer.
To which I said, please put that baby up for adoption right now because neither one of you have a chance.
Yeah.
But I just thought, okay, fine, whatever. But then they're going to this place, and then they're going to that place, and I want to live near the ocean. And here's the best part of these shows. Well, they do your checklist. What's
What do you
most
all
important
need?
to you?
Yes.
And it's normally like, I'd like a nice kitchen or a nice view. So it was, we have to live on the water. Okay, fine. That's
Sure.
It happens. We have to have 3 bedrooms. Oh, sure.
Okay,
You got one for you, the baby, and then if you have guests that come visit you because you're in a different country, multiple baths, whatever, multiple levels with a good view. And then the guy's like, "Oh, this is okay." And he goes in, "And what's your budget?" Thinking, this is going to not be cheap.
Yeah.
And she says, $500 a month. And I went, what?
That actually, I kind of like that.
Hi,
though.
I'm reality.
Yeah.
I'm over here.
But I like that. Because
Okay.
that's what their budget should be. She's a TikTok influencer not making any money. He's an inspiring fighter. What I hate is when they say, our budget's 2.9 to 3.8. And you think, wait, where are you getting $4 million to go buy a house?
That's a good-
You're a
okay.
TikTok influencer. At least this girl was like, we want to have this all for $500, and we're gonna be willing to do it on the backside of Thailand's elbow, where the sewer meets the water, maybe. But we still want to do
They
it.
panned to the real estate guy.
Yeah.
And he said, because you could see him, he's making notes with his pen.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And as soon as he said, so what kind of budget are you looking at? He's trying to be respectful of the situation. Has no idea what kind of money they have or what their expectations are. And then she says, $500 a month. And you literally see him go, as in,
just drop the pen.
and as you could just see him mentally crossing lines out of everything that they're going to be asking for. And so the camera pans to him, and he says, "Well, they're kind of in for a rude awakening, because apparently Thailand is a series of islands, which I did not know.
Okay, yeah.
And it was kind of neat because it's just beautiful, it's stunning. And then he says, I don't think they realize, kind of what they're in store for, to the point where one of the first properties he showed them was essentially a treehouse.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm not joking.
Yeah, okay.
It didn't really have a bedroom.
Yeah, all right.
It had a kitchen. It was almost like a loft.
Okay.
And I thought, well, you can kind of see water.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
you got a nice view, and here's what you get.
Oh, that's funny.
So
Yeah,
he did
okay.
find him something.
He did.
And I was so but
You were a little jealous.
no, not even remotely. But it's just, I want to say, I don't like you. Because
yeah.
I hate the overly picky HGTV real estate buyer.
My wife and I, she loves when I talk about her on the show, FYI.
I know she does.
Just, every time I bring up her sweet name, Nicole, she is enamored with me even more.
I hear that.
But we had a pretty large discussion, and maybe you could be the tiebreaker for us.
Oh, God. Okay.
So we were talking about Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Oh, sure. I love that show.
And
I've been there.
Yeah, you've been to Waco, Texas.
I
Yes,
have. They have a very nice facility down there.
Okay, so our supposition was this. Chip is better looking than Joanna is better looking. Like they're both handsome people. Chip's handsome, she's pretty.
I liked him better with shorter hair, though.
You liked him better with shorter hair. And I think he fluctuates on weight, right? When he's a little chunkier, doesn't look as good. But who do you think is better looking? If you were to just take and give them like just a raw number, who do you think's better looking? Without personality, this is just
but
looks.
I can't just go based on just looks as per our Kardashian conversation. Personality and everything that weighs into it for me.
See, because I gave Joanna kind of a high grade, and then Nicole
She's
said,
very pretty.
Nicole said, it's because you like her, because she's so sweet, nice, kind. And I said, I think you might be right. And then I looked squarely at Chip. I said, Chip's too a nice guy, but not a bad looking guy.
Plus, he's a man's man.
And he's
he
a man's
can build
man,
stuff.
right? Yeah, and he's knocking crap over, and he's barely wearing protection. His eyeglasses are off, and so I thought I'm going to give Chip a solid 8, but I'm going to give Joanna 7 3/4.
Wow.
Yet that is weird for me to say, and
I would have guessed the other way for you.
My wife was inverted. She said Joanna's better looking than Chip is better looking. What say you, Chris Reavers?
I'm the tiebreaker here,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Well, having been to Magnolia Farms in Waco, Texas, which...
Do you want to say what you left to go there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Like
Yeah, well, people that have listened to us over the years know that I this was technically before I left the Super Bowl at halftime.
Okay.
In which the Patriots made the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history to win the game in overtime. That doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter.
But and this just in case some of you happen to be in the greater Dallas, Waco area, you can buy stuff there. Honest to God, you walk in and it's bleeping Costco.
Good for them.
Inside of this bar. But it's just,
they're
if you're into
incredible
that stuff,
couple,
it's neat. It's just kind of neat to walk around. In fact, I bought a metallic letter R for my beloved for our living room because she's into that farm fixation kind of crap.
Shiplap.
Yeah, whatever it is. Anyway,
don't they say that all the time?
I'm probably a bigger Joanna than Chip. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and I get that. I
like his humor because he's not trying too hard. That's what I like about his style of humor.
You know what would really annoy me is if I found out that
we're talking about Chip and
all
Joanna.
of his, like, every time they go to him and he's like got the belt on and he's banging something, if it was just, okay, someone find Chip, and then Chip hops out of the RV and puts down his Perrier water and says, okay, wait, someone squirt some water on me, because if he's faking that,
that's what I mean.
Then he's a zero.
He's
in my
very
book.
authentic.
Yeah. But TV.
But you're right.
Is not. So
You're
one
right.
time, my parents, someone came up to my parents' house and said, "Hey, we'd like to take some pictures for a camera company inside your home." And my parents are like, I don't know. And then they offered them a crazy amount of money to do a photo shoot inside their house.
Wow.
And when I say crazy, you know how many RVs they had packed up and pulled up in front of their house? Not a video shoot, for a photo shoot. Take a guess on how many RVs this took.
4.
4 RVs.
Wow.
4 like semi trucks pulled up.
Wow.
They were putting like around their house these huge lights outside the window, so it would cast lights into the window, and it was a photo shoot for Nikon cameras. Right? So it was for a camera company.
That's crazy.
Right? So it was unbelievable. I thought, oh, none of that's real. None of, like, everything. If they do that for a photo shoot for a camera at a house in St. Paul, you know, that had to be a $100,000 shoot to take a picture of a camera.
Easily.
Easily, right? And I thought, well, all of this stuff isn't real, but there is a show that's real, and I don't know if you know it. We're going really deep on this.
I guess
Have
we
you ever
are.
heard of the Pioneer Woman or Pioneer Woman?
Mm-mm.
You haven't?
No.
My God, my wife's going to laugh so hard. It's this redheaded woman who lives on a ranch, a ranch with her husband. They're worth like $200 million from ranching. And during COVID, they got rid of the entire production company and they filmed the entire show all on their kids' cell phones. And this is like a show on the Food Network.
Okay.
Like a massive show. Like she's probably on the Food Network like 6 hours a day.
Okay.
She's like the Guy Fieri of the Food Network.
Okay.
And it is shocking. And you see, they pan to the kids, and her kids are literally holding their cell phones on, you know what a gimbal is?
Sure. Yep.
They hold it on a gimbal. So the thing, and that's all they use. And it looks perfect. And I thought, wow, what a way to say to the production company, I get it, during COVID, you're not going to come here, but we're still going to make shows. And they did it. And it's actually a little bit more authentic, because you'll have the kids go, like, she'll say, like, then you dip the chocolate, and the kids will be like, like, you can hear them through the speaker of the phone. It's so cool.
And then they just cut however many costs that they had associated with the camera crew.
All of that's gone.
Right.
Now it's like some 17-year-old kid holding the camera.
That's what I don't think a lot of people are truly coming to grips with, you know, in the last 2+ years, whatever it's been, almost, no, I guess in March, it'll be 3 years. But, you know, when we said, oh, man, people don't realize, oh, wait a minute, essential, not whatever.
Yeah.
People didn't realize, oh, we don't really need to do it that way anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people were saying, oh, crap, I didn't realize that this was going to cost this.
Yeah, the downstream ramifications, exactly. We went really deep. We hit
did.
a lot of cool topics.
I want to make mention, too, that you can watch the St. Thomas football team take on the University of San Diego. Is it Toreros? Toreros?
I don't know.
University of San Diego Toreros this Saturday at noon at O'Shaughnessy Stadium. The Tommies are undefeated, Michael, 4-0 in the Pioneer League and are pushing for the conference championship. Tickets are only $15. Just go to TommySports.com to buy your tickets today. That's TommySports.com and buy your tickets to watch St. Thomas take on the University of San Diego. I can't believe they're undefeated. Good for your.
That's
isn't
kind of
that your
fun.
School? Didn't you go to St.
No,
Thomas?
but my lovely wife, again, I'll bring that up. She
Oh.
went to St. Thomas.
Oh, that's right. You went to the U of M.
Yeah,
What am I thinking
I
of?
couldn't get into St. Thomas. That was way too hard. That was way too high level for me.
So I wanted to make mention of this as well. We lost a celebrity yesterday. Oh, for crying out loud!
It's not that guy with the thing. He was like, That guy on the radio station, that wasn't that
No,
big.
no.
I was going to say, I don't know if we're calling him a celebrity.
I just lost my news story. Why does this happen every single time? That
I'm still trying to look up the University of San Diego.
Are you looking for the pronunciation?
Yeah. I think that's
Leslie Jordan. Okay, thank
Leslie
you.
Jordan. Who's that?
You know who Leslie Jordan is?
Tell me. How I know him.
If you saw Leslie Jordan's face, you would instantly know who he is.
All right.
So he passed away. I believe he was in a car accident outside of Hollywood yesterday morning.
Oh, I know who he is. Yeah,
Okay, so he's been in a bunch of stuff, and
he died in a car accident.
I've said this before, but when you know that someone was truly beloved, when people are putting out tributes and things like that aren't just a generic canned, not that there's not an affinity for this person, but when you see genuine tributes for this person, you knew, okay, this person was the real deal, right? And one that really, really got me was an artist by the name of Bradi Carlile. Are you familiar with Bradi Carlile?
Yep.
So she put this video out there, and it's 2 minutes of her on the guitar and Leslie Jordan, and they're basically just singing snippets of gospel hymns.
Oh, really?
It's moving, and obviously, given the circumstances that he passed away, and her tweet was so incredible. I went down. Kenny and I both did this yesterday. He admitted it to me after the conclusion of Garage Logic today. I went down the Bradi Carlile rabbit hole yesterday.
I was going to say not the Jordan.
No. Okay. But he has a cool voice too. But they're singing together, and her voice is absolutely amazing.
She has a couple songs. I'm forgetting that one song.
The Story.
Is that just it makes you want to just cry your eyes
absolutely.
out? Yep, love it.
And she does a version of Hallelujah that's also just as tear-jerking.
Incredible.
She's got that just raspy, soul-inspired voice that just makes you go, wow, I wish she would cover every song ever made because I would listen to every minute of it. But anyway, I saw that yesterday, and it just caused me to go down the rabbit hole. But just such an amazing performer. And then, like I said, when someone like that passes away and you see the tributes start to pour in, and you can tell it's from a personal experience that you go, okay, that person's the real deal, like Leslie Jordan was.
Well, he was only 67, and if you're not picturing who Leslie Jordan is, he was in Will and Grace, and he always played, and I'll quote what they said. He knew he was a little effeminate man, and he profited for it.
Oh, 100%.
Right? He was he was a gray-haired, he looked much older in 67.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked 67 10 years ago.
Why can't I think of her name? What was her name that they would always battle on camera?
On Will and Grace?
Yes, because she played Ron Swanson. She's Nick Offerman's wife in real life.
Yeah, and I'm forgetting her character name.
Karen?
On Will and Grace. Yeah, it could have been Karen.
I think it's Karen.
Yeah, yes,
but her character on Will and Grace is
would
spectacular.
always fight with him.
Oh,
right?
it's just it was so good. So good.
He died when he smashed his BMW into the side of the building, and they are unsure if he had a medical problem happened beforehand.
Oh, that's too bad.
Or I don't know. That's sad. He seemed like a charming guy. I don't know one thing about him after that though. But he was on Murphy Brown too.
He was also on that current show with what's her name that played Blossom that was on The Big Bang Theory.
Yes,
Maya, whatever her name is,
something like that.
Yeah, he was on that show with her as well.
Is it Maya Bialik? She's also hosting Jeopardy,
right? Because she had also put out a tribute the other day or yesterday as well.
Yeah, didn't she get her doctorate somewhere?
Probably.
Yeah, I think she did.
Probably.
I think she has her doctorate in mathematics. No, you know who I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
Corey's wife. Corey from Not My So-Called Life. Old show where he was in love with a long-haired girl that was Asian, and his name is Corey, and it was they were going to fall in love, and you know who I'm talking about.
I wish I did. I'm sorry.
Reavers. This is okay. Think of some shows. Fred Savage.
Okay.
In love with Penelope.
No.
What was Fred Savage? Who was Fred Savage in love with?
For crying out loud.
How can you not remember this?
No, I know the show, The Wonder Years.
The Wonder Years.
Her name was, what was her? Winnie.
Winnie.
Yes.
I called her Penelope. It was Winnie. She has her doctorate in mathematics.
That's who you were thinking of.
But I think Bialik, Maya Bialik, I'm making her last name up, has her PhD or master's in aerospace engineering or something like that.
Did you just make that up?
Look it up.
Okay.
That's why she's hosting. Reavers, do you think you could host the Jeopardy?
No.
Because I don't think I could read most of those words.
Well, I honestly, I've done TV a couple of times. I don't like doing TV.
Really? Why that?
It's too stiff. It's too regimented. It's too in and out in 8 seconds, in and out in 8 seconds. That's just not my, I like the more free-flowing conversational aspect of broadcasting.
I think I was saying her name right, Mayim Bialik. I think I was right.
All right.
So that was something, but I'm trying to find her education because I think she actually has an interesting story behind herself, and that she kind of quit TV for a while.
Okay.
Right? Are you Googling? Am I just
trying
Googling?
No, I'm trying to find out who you're looking for, but I can't find it.
Mayim Bialik.
All right. One more story before
She went to the University of California.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Berkeley. Okay, keep going.
All right. The only other story that I really wanted to get to, we talked about it very briefly on Garage Logic today, but and I did not know that John was going to include this in his newscast, but this happened in Brooklyn Park, where a 38-year-old man accidentally shot himself in the upper leg while at a Brooklyn Park corn maze Saturday morning, police said. The accidental shooting occurred around 11:43 a.m. in the Twin Cities corn maze at 109th Avenue. The man had been near the corn pit, a pile of shelled corn akin to a sandbox, and was bending over at the waist, removing corn from his boot, when the firearm he was carrying on his hip discharged, according to a press release. Now, two things. Number one,
two things.
we can laugh at this because thank God no one else was hurt, except for the idiot that had his gun in a corn pit.
Yeah, because usually kids are in corn pits, not adult men.
Well, but if you're in there, like he's 38, so maybe he was in there with his kids.
Sure.
Who knows? I've done that. You've been in the corn pit with your girls, haven't you?
Yeah, but not every time I do it, I bring my AR. I don't bring a handgun.
Well, that's a good point.
So it's way easier to keep out of the sand.
But I'm just thinking, isn't that a case where you could maybe just leave the handgun at home if you know you're going to be jumping in the old corn pit?
Toss it in the car, maybe.
Leave it in the
Because at the corn pit, when you look around, you're probably not saying, well, there's some stuff going to go down at the corn pit.
Although it is Brooklyn Park.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's still, corn pits seem to be okay. I'm going to go back to Mayim Bialik.
All right.
She's born in 1975. She has a Bachelor of Science, but the degree is in neuroscience. So, I mean, it's just a bachelor's degree, right? So I gave her way too much credit.
You did.
But it is neuroscience, which is infinitely harder than getting one in sociology or Native American studies.
Well, thank God we got to the bottom of that.
I do. I wish, that's what I like about Souchere and Royce so much, is they're not looking stuff up on Google. They're not Googling anything.
That's not true.
There's no way they're doing it on the fly that fast.
Well, during the show, I can tell you that Joe will on occasion, because he has the, what's the word I'm looking for? He has the I can't let it go gene to him, where if
I get it.
It's the reporter in him. Mm-hmm. He calls it the curious gene. He goes, he always says, Reavers, you're not curious enough. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? I look stuff up all the time. Yeah. But he's right. His comeback should be, I'm not as curious as he is, which is 100% accurate.
Yeah, but you're not mentally ill.
Which he is.
Which he has another drive to find the depth.
To the point where the other day we were doing the show and he just stopped talking because he was looking something up. And I said, Joe, we're still on. We're still doing the show. And he's not as guilty of it normally because it's very easy to edit the podcast. Sure. Whereas in back to radio, when you're live on the air, you can't really do that.
But you don't edit the podcast
all the time.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Why do you never edit this show? We make so many stupid errors on this show, yet you never edit it.
That's part of our charm.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
I think so.
Because I didn't realize, I don't think you edit often on Garage Logic.
Not often. No, not often.
Yeah, because it seems like there's enough errors made on GL that someone would occasionally.
It depends. I'm a risk-reward guy. If it's like, is this really worth putting out there to the masses? And then it's like, nah, I should probably get rid of that.
Sometimes I think it's Kenny setting bait in the hook.
Oh, for sure.
Right? So when I was talking about Winnie's name on the Wonder Years, there was people screaming at the podcast saying, it's Winnie Cooper, you idiot. Although I didn't look up Cooper, so I think it's Cooper, but I think it is.
It is Winnie Cooper.
It was Winnie Cooper.
Yep.
There's people saying, how can they not remember that? And it's like a hook. It keeps people engaged. And sometimes when you guys do that show, when you're doing Garage Logic, I'm like, well, they have to understand that they just said something that's in air and they're just hooking everybody, right? It's just a hook because they want to get those 600 emails.
I'd love to say that that's the case, but oftentimes we are really that stupid.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Not the 4 of you, the 5 of you put together. There's too much brain power in there. Although, if 4 of the 5 are checked out at any one time,
Right.
which
Which
is
happens
possible,
on occasion.
which is because sometimes he'll ask the question and no one will be there, or he'll do a flashlight king and no one will say hail you, right?
Yeah, and oftentimes what happens, and I'm just going to speak for myself, is I'm clearly not paying attention.
Okay.
And it can be a multitude of things. It
You might
can
be
be
working.
I've got 3 screens in front of me, so I'm trying to figure out, okay, why is this not working? Why is that not working? He just asked me a question. I'm looking at my computer screen. I'm going to say, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to multitask when you have 3 screens. And in reality, why is he asking you questions? You got Kenny, you got Rookie, and you got John.
I think that's what I'm trying to teach him.
Yeah, like ask any of these guys that are 100% in, right? Because you can't see this, but Reavers has this huge board in front of him. What's it called? What is it? A X4730?
It's called a Zeta machine.
It's a Zeta machine. It's this huge machine, and he has all these dials, and he's pretending to turn those all the time. Like he's doing stuff on them. It looks super cool, and you do that.
I'm the George Costanza of radio producers. Yes.
Why don't you, for the town council, show people what you have to do and say? You don't think I'm doing stuff because you're in charge of technology corner.
It's
more than that.
You just gave me a good idea for our next video.
Yeah, right.
Thank
you can
you
say,
very much.
here's who I have to turn down, and then have Rookie talking. You can just take one of the dials.
In
and go,
fact, our video today, I haven't cut it up yet because we were doing this show, but the video today is going to be why John wasn't able to dial in successfully. And the result is quite hilarious.
Okay, good.
It literally was John forgetting to push one button where I'm frantically scouring the entire board going, why is this not working?
Yeah, why can't we hear him?
And
What's
then we
going
hear
on?
John go, oops.
Oops.
And then you hear,
oh, was it the mute button? Like, hold on, let me take it off of mute.
Right.
All right, Reavers, you're the best.
Thank you, Michael. Please do us a favor, rate and review the show wherever you happen to be listening to this, on whichever platform you happen to be listening to. We would really, really appreciate it. His name is Mike Fratelloni with Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores. My name is Chris Reavers. We will talk to you again next week. Until then, cheers.